When healing begins, purpose awakens. This is a major insight into faith, healing, and purpose. Great night, everyone. Welcome back to a major insight into faith, healing, and purpose. I am your host, Ashley Major, and it is always a pleasure to just be here with you guys each and every Thursday. And so if you are watching this live, drop an L in the chat. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. Which part of the world are you in? And if you're watching the replay, drop an R in the chat and let us know where you guys are tuning in from. So, y'all, I am always excited to just talk and share what I'm learning. And, a lot of the topics that we talk about here are topics that I'm having discussions about, right? I'm having these real-time discussions with women that are journeying along. And so it makes me think, well, if there are questions from one person, then there are probably many others that are having the same questions or that have the same questions, right? And so tonight's topic is what comes next after healing. So what comes after healing, right? And so for those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome. So let me just give a quick introduction for my newbies. Queen, you are welcome here because I am Ashley Major, faith-based holistic life and wellness coach, author, speaker, and I help women of faith go from broken, lost, stuck in cycles of trauma, right? Ready to be healed or on the healing journey. And I help them go to healed, happy, and whole, walking authentically in their God-given purpose. So, y'all, I'm excited to just be a beacon of light, to be a guiding light on this journey of healing, of becoming her, healed, elevated, and reborn. And speaking of becoming her, I just hosted my third Becoming Her Again workshop. And this last one, this was on Tuesday, and it was, man, it was so powerful. It was a phenomenal event. Many women walked away with so much awareness of where they are on their journey and insight into how they can now start taking the next steps. And I had a conversation with a lady yesterday, and she had booked a restoration call with me, and we were talking, and one of the things that I gathered was that she had done a lot of work. Like, she was on her healing journey for a few years. Like, her journey didn't start. And many people that come to me, they're coming in different phases of their journey, right? Some are just starting, some have started, but they've, went back a few steps and they're trying to navigate. And she had mentioned to me that she felt stuck, right? And I've heard this time and time again. I was there. I've recently heard this from a few other women that they feel stuck. Like, I'm doing the work, but I don't know what's next. They've invested in learning from others, from whether it was a coach, a mentor, maybe reading books, maybe watching YouTube videos, but you have done the work in learning how to get yourself to the next level, but now you feel stuck. You're looking for direction, you're looking for clarity. And if I'm being honest, this was me 2 years ago. Right? I was there just 2 years ago trying to get to the next level because, as they say, as you grow, every level, there's something new you have to overcome. And so I was in this space where I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get to the next level? I feel like I've been in this space far too long and I need some direction. I need clarity. And so if that is you, if you have done the work, if you have started doing the work, and you're trying to figure out what is next, then this episode is for you. Okay. And so we're going to touch on 1, your identity after healing and why that is important. 2, purpose and becoming. And 3, why this journey looks different for many people, right? It's not going to look the same for every single person. And so let's talk about identity. Now, y'all, let me just put this out here. Go to my website. I haven't updated it since the since the workshop. I've just been busy editing the video, getting the journals prepared and sent out, for those that have registered and were a part of the event. And so every time I host these events, you get access to the replay for 7 days, as well as you get a free gift, right? And the free gift is a companion journal that goes along with the work, the teaching, the workshop, right? And so you can go to the website right now. You can register right now. It's still open, even though the date has passed. And that way you guys can stay up to date with what upcoming events I'm having. There's a lot of things going on right now that you guys want to make sure that you are in the know about, because my email list typically gets everything first. I just restarted my newsletter, and that goes out every Monday. So that, I'm excited to just even be doing that again. Because again, it is go season, okay? It is go time. It is time to just really just pour out what God has been pouring in. Like my overflow, my cup is so full. Like I'm just ready to pour it all out. And so I want you guys, if you are ready to, you want to be in the know, you want to know what's coming up next. If you want to be a part of the next workshop, definitely go ahead and join that. Click that link. And go to the website, AMajorInsight.com, and register, okay? Put in your information and you'll get access to all of the things that are coming up, the newsletter. All right, back on track. Now, the reason I shared that with you, because this last workshop, we talked a lot about identity. And I'm realizing that I was sitting down thinking, I was like, I need to call myself an identity coach, because this is the foundation. If you don't know who you are, how can you show up? If you are battling with an identity crisis, which most people are, how can you show up fully? How can you show up whole? How can you know what is next on this journey of healing? Until you know yourself, until you know who God has called you to be, there's always going to be a disconnect. There's always going to be uncertainty. There's always going to be fogginess and lack of direction. Your identity is rooted in your purpose. And your purpose, in order to understand what your purpose is, you need to be aware of where you are. And clarity brings awareness. Well, awareness brings clarity. Awareness brings clarity. And so if you have awareness, if you know what you are working on through your healing journey and understanding your identity, if you know who you are, then these next steps, they're going to come easy. They're going to come easy because once you know who you are, now you can start working on being the woman, not just becoming, but being the woman that God has called you to be, and stepping boldly and confidently in your purpose. And so a lot of people believe that healing is the finish line, right? Many women believe that healing is the finish line, but it is not. It is a part of the journey, and it is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. And so once you've addressed those wounds, once you've started facing the wounds, once you have started, acknowledging where you are, the pain, the things that you need to work on, then this is where the deep work begins. Because we get stuck in these cycles, right? And the cycles we get stuck in, they've been going on for years. And so now we've developed habits, we've developed mindsets, we've developed a lot of things that do not serve us. Now, as we're going through the healing journey, we may start healing the mindset, we may start healing the emotions, but getting unstuck and changing those habits, they require work. They require deep, intentional work. And so you have to now align your actions with your identity. You have to align your actions with who God has called you to be, who you believe you are, what your values are, right? What your gifts and talents are, the things that God has placed inside of you, you now have to align your disciplines with these things. And this is where the work really begins. And y'all, let me tell you, I've been on a journey. I just sat down this week and I'm like, gosh, what is going on? Right? So I've been on a journey of losing weight. I've been there, done it. Now I'm back on it, right? And granted, I actually love the way that I look. I love the structure of my body. I love how I feel, but there's some excess fat that I'd love to get rid of, right? I want to decrease my body fat percentage. And so part of that and majority of that comes with my diet. Now, I don't eat poorly. I recently cut out meat. I was eating meat a few weeks ago and I had to cut out again because as much as I love it, my body doesn't, right? And so even though, and so I didn't cut out meat because I wanted to cut out meat, okay? Just for those, when y'all hear me start talking about I ate meat last week, yeah, I did not cut out meat because I'm trying to jump on a fat, okay? I cut out meat because my body started to reject it. Well, my body rejects it because it still does it today. Okay. And so that I can continue to feel good, I don't eat it. Right now, there are some off days, but recently I've been pretty good. Okay. But with that, with the way that I eat, I don't really eat bad. My issue has now been that I need to regulate the times that I eat and not eat so late. So I started, cutting my meals off at a certain time before I go to bed. Because sometimes it'll be 8 o'clock and I go to bed at 10, or it'll be 10 o'clock and I go to bed at 12, right? But it really depends on what time I go to bed. But the discipline, it has been so hard getting back into that routine because I've been there, but I know that once I get there and I continue, it gets easier. And a lot of times we don't want to go through the hard stuff. We want to say that this is who I am, this is who I align with, but our actions don't match it. And when you are on this journey of healing and you're going to the next level, you have to reinforce your belief and your identity by the things that you do. And so the things that you don't do also reinforces an identity subconsciously. And this is where imposter syndrome comes in. This is where we go back into these states of lack of confidence and fear and shyness because our actions do not align with the identity that we tell ourselves. And so this journey of healing comes with understanding our identity and doing the actions. We have to. We can work on our mindset. We can work on our emotional state. We can work on setting boundaries. Right? These are the things that really help us to get out of these trigger responses and help us to get out these mental and emotional funks. But now we need to start building our confidence. We need to start building our self-worth. We need to start building who we say we are. And that comes with our habits. Do you have a morning routine? How do you eat? How do you work out? And again, it is not easy. But we got to get good at getting uncomfortable. We got to get good at being disciplined. We got to get good at doing the thing long after the excitement wore off, long after the motivation has gone. Because motivation does not stay, it does not last. We got to show up every single day. Every single day. Every single day, we got to show up for ourselves and do the things, commit to our commitments. And this is where the confidence now goes up. This is where you not only know who you are, but you own that. You own who you are. You walk with your head held high, shoulders down, back straight, smile on your face, and your energy, everything about you screams, that woman knows who she is. That's the next step in the healing journey. You have to own your identity. Your self-worth, you got to work on rebuilding that self-worth. You got to keep those promises. You got to explore your talents and your gifts. The things that you put down years ago, the dreams that no longer you saw yourself doing, but you know that this was something that God has called you to, you have to pick those back up. You got to do the things that brought joy to your life, that were a part of your identity before the trauma, before that brought the best out in you. It's time to pick those back up. It's time to get in alignment. And this can look, again, different for every single woman, every person, depending on what those desires are, depending on what your calling is. This journey can look different, and it also can look different depending on what season you're in, right? Some of us may be in a season of germination, right? So last night we talked about, on the Bible study, we talked about faith in action produces fruit. So we talked about what that journey looks like of producing fruit, right? And so when you think about a seed, we talked about the parable of the sower. And when you think about a seed is buried. A seed is buried in soil, underground, in darkness. Some of us may be in that season of waiting where it looks bleak. We know we're doing the work, we're showing up every day, but we're just waiting for things to sprout up. We're just waiting for the next step. And so, depending on what season that is, I watched a video today about garlic, right? They say the best time to grow garlic is in the fall, right? This is the best time to plant it. You can take the cloves, rip them apart, the sticky piece. For those of you that want to start homesteading, because your girl wants to really start homesteading. Well, I started growing pineapples, but if you want to start, right? So this a tip, write it down. So you put the garlic, the skinny part up, right? You put them 6 inches apart in the soil, and you 6 inches deep, 6 inches apart. You put the skinny part up, tip up, and you plant it, cover it up. And the best time to plant it is in the soil because they take 9 months to grow. So when spring comes around, now you have garlic plants, right? But those garlic plants, there's a season that they are underground. There's a period that they have to go through before there's any fruit, before they are full, right? Before you can pluck them up. There's a season and a period that they have to go through where they are being nourished, where they are being pruned and nurtured and cared for, watered, and depends on what season you are in, depends on your next step in your journey. But this looks different for everyone when it comes to the next step in your healing, but it all equals the same thing, which is realignment, aligning with who you now say you are. Okay. Now, the next part of this, so we talked about identity. The next part is the purpose aspect and the becoming, right? Because once you know who you are, you can start walking in your purpose. Once you know who God has called you to be, you can start owning that queen. Once your habits align, your disciplines align, now you can truly step into your purpose. And so let's think about that. Let's think about that for a moment, right? Our purpose. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Last week I talked about purpose, right? And it says purpose is the reason for which anything is done, for the reason for which anything exists, anything is created. It is a fixed design. So each of us have our purpose. We talked about this last week. We talked about God's divine plan and intention for us when he created us. He created us before we were in our mother's womb. He created us before we were even thinking of being conceived. He knew and he had a plan for us. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that he has a plan for each and every one of us. right? And so if he has a plan, he created us with a purpose, then your purpose is already inside of you. Your purpose is already inside of you. And so as you own your identity, as you work on the disciplines, as you work on every single aspect that connects and align with who you are, guess what is going to unfold? Your purpose. Your purpose is going to unfold. See, our identity, once that's clear, it's like a ripple effect, right? It's like a snowball effect. Your confidence, your everything will seem it will seem to, people say, oh, you became an overnight success, but no, you did the work. When you were being buried and planted and you were in that season of waiting and you had to go through that pruning and plucking and weeding out all of the things that don't align and don't connect, when you had to go through that period in order for your plant to be mature, to bear fruit, a lot of people don't see that. But when you do that and you go through that process, the fruit that you bear 9 times out of 10 aligns with your purpose. And so this is where we have to be faithful and we have to be obedient to the word of God. Y'all, I apologize. It took too big of a breath just now. Woo! All right. So it was about to get good just now, y'all. All right, let's get back into this. Let me tell y'all, because if you truly want to align with your purpose, if you truly want to bear the fruit that God created in you, then you have to be obedient to his leadings. You have to be disciplined to know that you can trust him and to be faithful enough to step out in action. Listen, some of us are called to ministry. I know God has called me to ministry. I never saw it in my past. I did not think that this is where I would be. I knew that I would be on stages speaking to women, but I did not know it would be in this capacity. Right? Some women are called to entrepreneurship. Some women are called to leadership. Some women are called to motherhood. Some are called to impacting their communities. Starting nonprofits, whatever your purpose is, you need to connect it back to God. You need to, because he created that purpose in you. And if you want that purpose to go and be all that he has called it to be, then who else do you partner with? Who else should you partner with? Who else should you partner with? The one who gave you the vision. He's the visionary. God is the visionary. You are just partnering with him to bring that vision to fruition. He's the visionary. So if God is the visionary, that means he has mapped every aspect out. Stop trying to figure this thing out on your own, because you're only giving yourself double work. You're only making yourself work hard for nothing, because wherever God guides, he is going to equip you. He is going to provide. He is going to make sure that you have everything that you need to bring this thing to fruition. And this is why when you partner with him, when you are operating in obedience and you are walking in faith, you are taking action in faith, it seems so easy to those who don't understand. And this is how God gets all the glory and honor, because they're looking like, well, how did you do that? And you're going to be like, well, it was all God. but it took faith and it took obedience. See, after you've done the work of healing, right? You have connected with your identity and you have started walking in purpose. The next thing comes influence over the people around you. Because let's think about it. Only selfish people don't want the people around them to thrive. If you are thriving and you are walking out boldly, confidently in your purpose, you're going to put others on. You are going to have influence of the people around you. And so you get to develop good character, right? You get to nurture the communities, and then what comes after influence? Legacy. So this process, this is a big deal. Healing is not just about you. It's about everyone around you. And when we start looking at that, I remember the one thing that, as I was on my personal development journey and I was on my healing journey, I remember one thing from a guy by the name of Ed Milet. And he said, if your vision does not impact those around you and they can't get their vision through your vision, then you're not thinking big enough, right? Because let's face it, your healing is tied to someone's breakthrough. And if you are not doing the work, if you are not stepping out and you're not seeking God's guidance, because God is going to give us far more than we can ever think of. He does the impossible. He's going to give us far more than we can ever think of or imagine. So if our vision is outside of ourselves and we're thinking about every single one around us and who we can impact, how we can help them impact others, and this thing can turn into a ripple effect. If you are thinking that way, then guess what's going to happen? Legacy. And it doesn't have to be global. It could be within your community. It could be within your family. I had a conversation with the ladies on Tuesday and I asked them, how many of you know your great grandparents? And many people don't know their great grandparents. Many people do not know who their great grandparents are. And I want to apologize to my Instagram fam because your girl forgot to hit go live. So y'all just hopping on and I'm getting ready to wrap up, but it's absolutely fine because y'all can get the replay on YouTube. But many people do not know their great grandparents. You know why? Because there was no legacy left behind. There was no influence left behind. See, when the last person calls your name, that's the end of your legacy. You want your legacy to outlive you, even if it's just within your family line. You want your great grandkids to know who you are, because you built something that was beyond you, that was not about you, and that impacted the lives long after you were gone. See, the Bible tells us that a wise man leaves inheritance for his children's children. Inheritance doesn't always have to be material. That inheritance could be wisdom. These are insights and knowledge that you can pass down for generations. Because material possessions can always go away. But the lessons that you learn, that you leave behind, the principles that you instill, that you leave behind, is where the legacy is. And so what comes next after healing? Identity, purpose, influence, and legacy. And so, listen, if this is something that you are ready to really just jump on. I'm excited, y'all, because when I was in church on Sunday, we had went to a women's event, and the guest preacher, she talks about Judges 4:14, when Deborah told Barak that God said it's time to go. Like, go. He has already gone before you. He's already done the work. He's already made the way clear. You just now need to be obedient. You need to go. And when she said that word, when she read that scripture, like, I felt like God was speaking directly to me. And he said, Ash, it's go time. You've laid the foundation. You've done the work. You've been obedient. You've been doing as I told you to do. And now it's time to go. There are women whose lives are tied to your obedience. There are women whose lives can be transformed through your obedience. There are women whose breakthrough is tied to your obedience, and it is go time. And so, queens, listen, I'm excited to just share with you some of the things that I'm working on and some of the things that God has positioned me to start. Like, October 7th is the start of my new group coaching program, and I'm so excited about that. Yesterday, I had the first lady to register for that event, for that program. Sorry, I'm so used to doing events. But this is my first group coaching program. I usually do one-on-one coaching, but now God is like, community. Women need community, and they need to be in community of other women that are on the same journey, and they need to see that, and they need that. And I saw that on Tuesday, the need and the desire and the vulnerability that was laid out because of the community. And so if you are somebody that is ready to, you started your healing journey and you're ready to just keep going, and you're ready to tap into who God has called you to be and to tap into your purpose, unlock that, because it's already within you. You don't have to find it. It's not lost. It's already within you. You're ready to build influence and create a legacy for your generations beyond you. Then I encourage you to book a restoration call with me. This journey of healing and becoming the woman who God has called you to be, stop wasting time. It is time. It is time, queens. It is time. The next 6 months are going to go by anyway. Do you want your next 6 months to look like your current 6 months? Do you want your next 6 months to look like the last 6 months that you just had? Or do you want it to be better? Do you want to be elevated? Do you want to work on healing? And do you want to reconnect your faith, reignite your faith, so that your purpose is aligned with the purpose that God created you for? Y'all, I'm excited. These next 6 months are going to be so transformative. And I'm not just saying for the women that come in, but also for me, because I'm excited to be used, to be a vessel that God is using to pour into these women, because this is not about me. This is about helping them become the women they need to be, so that they now can go out and impact lives. I want to hear the stories about how they use their story, their hurt, their pain as a testimony for somebody else's transformation. And if you know that God is calling you to more and you just don't know how to get there, you need direction, you want sisterhood, you want a support system where you can be vulnerable. Sometimes you don't know, you're in a space where there's still some shame tied to it. Even though you're doing the work, there's still some shame tied to it. And so if you are ready, man, y'all see me, I getting fired up, y'all. I'm so y'all, listen, God been using me, y'all. He been using me. And I'm just grateful. I am grateful to just be that person that he saw fit, that he saw value in. And there's value in you too. He sees value in you. John 15:16 said, you do not choose me, but I chose you. God chose you so you can go out there and bear fruit. Go read it. John 15:16. When that imposter syndrome creep in and you feel like you're unworthy and you're not enough, remember what he said, okay? Go read John 15:16, Queen. Listen, man, go read it, okay? Because he chose you. You are chosen. There's purpose in you. And if you feel that stirring, go and book the restoration call. Here's the screenshot. Go ahead and book that. Scan that code. I'm going to drop the link as well in the chat. Go ahead and scan that code. If you're watching by way of Instagram, hit the link in my bio. Go ahead and book the restoration call so that we can talk about how we can go to the next level, how we can take the next step in your healing journey, how you can become the woman that God has called you to be, because it is there. It is in you. Your purpose is waiting for you to unlock it, to align your life with the identity that God already gave you. It is time. It is time. Y'all, I am fired up tonight. I am fired up. Okay. So anyways, let's wrap this thing up. Let's bring this in for a close because I said all I needed to say. You're wondering what's next. Unlock your identity. Rebuild it. Start walking in alignment. Start doing the things that you know you need to do. Y'all, by the end of this year, I gotta post some pictures. Y'all go scroll my social media. Y'all see your girl was doing her thing before life just started lifing, right? Before I started that journey downhill and hitting rock bottom. Because y'all know my story. Y'all know my story. But your girl getting back there and better than before, okay? Listen, 45% right now is at 35, sorry. 35. By the end of this year, I want it to be by 25, okay? So y'all could clock me on that. Mark that down. We are in the work. We are going to work because this body fat percentage need to get down. 25 is still kind of high, but that's where we starting, okay? 25% is the goal by December 31st, okay? And I will keep y'all posted, okay? But set the goals. Do the things that align with the woman you know God called you to be. God called me to be fit and healthy. Not just mentally healed and emotionally healed and spiritually healed, but also physically healed. Walking the walk, talking the talk, doing everything that aligns with the woman that he has called me to be. I'm a certified fitness coach. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a nutrition coach. I know what I need to do, right? And it's just a matter of just getting myself back to that place where I'm consistently doing it. And a lot of you guys know what you need to do. You start and then you stop. But your goals require consistency. Your goals require discipline. The hard things, you think the wealthy of the wealthy get where they are because they just show up randomly every day. No, they have systems in place. They have a routine and they are disciplined no matter how they feel. A lot of us operate our lives on emotions, but your emotions are not going to get you to where God is calling you to be. And this is why obedience is required. Because when you are obedient, it doesn't matter how you feel. It does not matter how you feel. You just know that I got to get this done no matter what. So it is time, Queen. It is time. If you are ready to go deeper, go ahead, book that restoration call, and let's get chatting, y'all. October 7th, we start October 7th. I said if only one person in that class, we are starting. We can be a group of 2, okay? Because I am ready to work with the women that are ready to work on themselves, that are ready to become the woman that God has called them to be so that they can step out in the purpose. Y'all, this time that we are in, it is time for us to rise up. It is time for us to rise, queens. It is time for us to rise. And, I didn't say that because my framework is actually called the RISE method. But as I was saying that just now, I was like, you know what, God, thank you for that, because the framework is called RISE. The framework that I use in this coaching program is called RISE. But it is time for us to rise up. It is time for us to do the work. You know why? Because this world is at a place where it needs leaders that are rooted in faith, that can direct the next generation, that can lead the next generation, that can impact the next generation. And it is time that we become the woman that God has called us to be. Y'all, think about it. The mothers, the women, they are the nurturers. They are the foundation. The men are the head, but the women are the foundation. They raise the children. They set the rules most times, because a lot of people are growing up in single parent home. And so there's a lot of trauma that happens to women that do not get talked about. There's a lot of generational curses that are passed down that do not get talked about. There are a lot of unsaid family traumas and family anyways, don't let me get started. That is passed down, that do not get talked about. And we need to be the cycle breakers. We need to be the women that God has called us to be, to do the work to impact the lives of the next generation. The world needs us, and it is time. And so if that is you, and if you are ready, hit the link in my bio, register for the restoration call, and let's talk. I have slots open. I don't have a lot. I have a few meetings tomorrow that are already booked, but y'all, I want my calendar full, because it is time. It is time, queens. October 7th, we're getting started. So you make the decision whether you are going to be in the room. And I'm capping off at 10 because I want it to be intimate and intentional. I'm capping off at 10. So are you going to be within the 10? Anyways, that is it. That is all, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope that this session, this episode impacted you in a way to start stirring and get you moving, because Judges 4:14, go. God has already made the way clear before you. Stop thinking about what you don't have. If you are trusting in God, then you know that He has already made the way clear. He's already provided. He's already gone before you to equip you. You just need to now make a decision and say, yes, Lord, I will follow. Yes, Lord, I will obey. Yes, Lord, I will move. It is time for you to go. It is time for you to take a step out on faith. It is time for you to be obedient, and it's time for you to become the woman that God has called you to be. It is time, Queen. Have a blessed night, everyone. This is a major insight into faith, healing, and purpose with Ashley Major.